more expensive it is flattened. Okay, questions? Okay, then we talk about the second part, preference. What you like. So here we have a utility function x and y, okay? So you consume x and you also consume y. And so when you changes your consumption x or y, okay, of course the utility level will change. But then how can we tell? Because we want to use a benchmark. Oh, let's call it benchmark. We want to figure out a certain satisfaction level, what we will do, okay? So then we want to hold this fixed. So if this utility is equal to a certain level, okay? And then we want to know when you want to reach this satisfaction level, how are you going to change between x and y? It means that, so for example, you can get 5x and 5y, or 2x, 8y, and you can get the same kind of satisfaction level. We want to know how does it look like. So then we want to change the consumption of x. If you change the consumption of x, what happened to your utility, your marginal utility from x? It also changes. So dx du. The same thing when you change the consumption for y, you're going to change the marginal utility of y. And whatever change there is, it doesn't change the satisfaction level, okay? So here what you have, you're going to have, okay, let's just try this part. So du dx, right? It is called marginal utility of x. So dx, marginal utility of x, and dy, marginal utility of y is equal to 0. Okay, so then we move this to the other side. dy muy is equal to the negative mux. Okay? And then I'm going to draw you a chart to tell you how it's going to look like. Okay? Let me finish it. So you have here dy dx is equal to mux Anyway, let me try this first. Okay. We want to find a benchmark to give you a constant utility, okay? And so if you have this, let us say this is y1 and this is x1. And we want to find out, okay, we want to find out a utility level that is equal to this point A, okay? We want to figure out a utility level that is equal to point A, okay? So if you move to the northeast side, okay, the northeast side, here you have more x, and here you have more y, right? So as a matter of fact, if you have any points up here, it's going to be much more satisfied than this point. So you get more utility here than here, right? And the other side, here you get less y and less so you both have less x and less y there, okay? So what happened? You feel worse off. So here you are better off, right? And here are worse off. So what you're going to get, if you want to find something that is the same satisfied level, okay, you have the same satisfaction level with A, it has to be something like this. And this is what we call indifference curve, and abbreviated as IC. Okay, indifference curve. And what does this mean? Because we want to measure, okay, how satisfied you are when you change its consumption bundles. So for example, here, if you want to have the same satisfaction level with A, down here you got more X, but then what you have? You need to sacrifice some Y, okay? So here you got more X and less Y. Here you got more Y and less X. So this is the way to maintain, okay, to keep the same kind of satisfaction level. Okay, so this is called indifference curve. And how does that going to help us? Okay, so we forgot to mention the slope. Okay, the slope of budget line. Okay, the slope of the budget line, px times x plus py times y is equal to, let us say, m. And then, so what you have y is equal to py, px, sorry, let me go slowlier. So you have py times y equals m minus px times x. So y is equal to negative py px times x plus m py. So here is the slope of the budget line. As I tell you, right? If x becomes more expensive, what happens? It becomes steeper, okay? And if y becomes more expensive, it becomes flatter. And then it's going to be the same thing with the indifference curve here. So let us say, I understand that this is not as quite natural as you would expect, because we seldom do this. But imagine that, okay? You want to keep a certain satisfaction level, okay? You can change between the two bundles. And so how are you going to change it? Because it's going to relate it to two concepts. One is called price effect. So what's price effect? Price effect actually has two parts. One is called income effect. The other one is called substitution effect. Okay, what happened? Probably you have realized that gasoline is now even, much more expensive than before. Today, I think it's $31 per gallon. Sorry, Taiwan is not gallon, it's called liter. Okay, liter. So, 水煮, what's liter? What's gallon? Do you know gallon? Yeah. Excuse me? Let's take a break.